Hi, I'm Heidi. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I wanted to talk to you about how you can build your self confidence and boost your mental health with a practice that I call intentional discomfort. So let's take a look. So, when we're talking about mental health, a lot of discussions are focused on the importance of being centered, of being calm, of regulating your nervous system. And while those practices are super important, I wanted to shed some light on a different perspective, and that is about the importance of putting yourself into situations that actually throw you off balance, that make you uncomfortable, that push you beyond your comfort zone. I'm not suggesting you put yourself into an abusive scenario or something that's hurtful or that causes panic or pain. I'm talking about a learning process that happens when we're thrown into something new and how that can actually build your confidence. Speaking of learning and learning process, lately I've been thinking about the fact that my mental health doesn't feel very balanced when I'm not learning something new. And I think that's in part because our brains and our bodies are wired at all stages in life, even at the later stages, to continue building and growing and changing and learning and pushing ourselves to build new pathways. But there's an inherent conflict in this because we're also wired to crave comfort and to avoid pain and discomfort. It's human nature to want to do things repeatedly and to have routine. It makes us feel safe. And you would think that doing things over and over again, especially things that we do really well, builds confidence. But I actually think the opposite happens. If we stay too much in a routine, our brain starts to believe that new things and challenging things are dangerous or that we can't handle them. And so we need to keep learning and we need to keep growing and stretching and getting used to discomfort, because experiencing and doing things that we think are undoable or unmanageable, actually that's what builds internal strength and confidence. Now, one thing that's super important if you're choosing to embark upon this journey of intentional discomfort is that you find a person or people to help inspire you and coach you through this process, because it can be quite challenging. Let me give you an example. So a few years back, my family and I decided over the summer that we would all learn something new. And of course, being in my 50s, I chose one of the most difficult instruments to learn, the drums. And I had no idea how ridiculously hard that was going to be and continues to be for me. And honestly, I've almost given up multiple times, but I found a teacher. I found just the right teacher to help me with the process. Meet Jeff Randall, a professional drummer with so many wonderful qualities. He's massively talented, super clever with how he scaffolds lessons, very tech savvy with his drumming resources so that we can meet on Zoom, and above and beyond, nice, forgiving, patient person. So when I mess up, and I mess up a lot, he encourages me to keep going. It's one of the most uncomfortable things that I've ever done, playing the drums, but so worth it. So Jeff helps me go through this learning cycle of getting super inspired, fumbling, failing, practicing over and over again, experiencing some failures and many successes that fill me with an excitement and a confidence that honestly I could never have imagined. And I think that confidence comes from having pushed through some really big challenges. When we do hard things, we discover that we can do lots of other hard things. So my wish for you is that you find your area that you would like to intentionally throw yourself into and be uncomfortable and run with it. Here are some tips that can help you with this process. Number one, find something that you're curious or passionate about and willing to invest a fair amount of time in. Number two, find a teacher, a mentor, a coach, a therapist, a friend, somebody who is skilled and talented in an area that will inspire you, but also will help you feel safe when you're vulnerable, because intentional discomfort ultimately feels embarrassing. You'll feel clumsy and foolish sometimes, so it needs to be the right person. Number three, when you're in the learning process, expect to be thrown off, expect failure, expect to feel awful and to actually want to quit many times. Number four, Do not quit and be patient with yourself. And actually try to see if you can become curious. When I'm playing the drums and I'm messing up, I try to be curious about the pathways between the brain and the body. I try to imagine the neuromuscular connection that's being created even when I'm struggling with practicing certain very challenging things. Number 5, try to be willing to practice trial and error, because the repetition is what actually builds those new pathways. It'll also build your confidence and also build your sense of self. So you're not just working on the skill, you're working on your internal resources and moving through something difficult. Number 6, try to refrain from comparing yourself to others unless it motivates you in a healthy way. If you're feeling vulnerable, definitely consider staying off of social media. Try to use only yourself as a frame of reference for your growth. And remember that when you're looking at things on social media, all of the things that are posted, or almost all, are curated. So what might look just like you practicing, people won't choose to put on social media because they always want to present their best selves. What interesting or even creative challenges might you take on to help give you the confidence that you can even pursue other challenges? Good luck with what you're working on and what you choose to learn about. Let me know in the comments how it's going or if you have questions. And as always, thanks for watching. Be real and be well.